Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video talking about the top 5 things that I learned and got from Jeffrey Epstein's private island, Little St. James, as well as talking about some of the important things that are being missed, as well as the conspiracies against me, which I'm going to address at the end of this video. But so far, after releasing our video last night, the response has been tremendous. There's been a couple of news organizations that have actually picked up this story, and it's absolutely incredible to see this topic, this important issue, finally get out there to the masses, combined, of course, with the resurgence of memes at the same time that are making this story almost impossible to ignore. And trust me, there are a lot of powerful people trying to, of course, sweep this story under the rug. Since today is exactly 80 days since, a billionaire pedophile connected with almost every elite member of our society who victimized small children on his private island killed himself right when he was on suicide watch, right before he committed suicide on the night that the guards conveniently fell asleep and his cellmate was removed from being in the same room as him, while his powerful co-conspirators are still out and free in the world. So yeah, so far, not in trouble, not in jail. The story is somehow getting out there. It has not been censored yet by YouTube. And of course, the response to it, especially the memes that are surrounding all of this, so far everything is going great, which is surprising because even though we have and face mass suppression from YouTube. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but for years now, we have been getting screwed by YouTube. Currently, hundreds, sometimes even 1,000 people a day are unsubscribed from our YouTube channel, which has been hovering around 600,000 views for way too long, and we are getting hundreds, and I could say hundreds of messages of people saying that they are being unsubscribed without them doing it, including my good friend and past cameraman who worked on videos for this channel, Chris Harrigan, who says here, quote, "So I was just randomly unsubscribed from We Are Changed by YouTube, and I've actually had my work shown on this channel." And this happens in the hundreds every single day on this YouTube channel. On this YouTube channel, almost always the next video that plays is, of course, not ours. It's either a mainstream media channel or Vsauce or Vice, MSNBC, or some other trash mainstream media garbage nonsense that people don't want to watch. And of course, our videos are being throttled as a new investigation by my friend Tim Pool uncovered how his video was being throttled because of content that he had on there that he scrubbed off that continued the normal flow and viewership of his video. And by looking at his graphs on what his videos did when they were throttled compared to when he censored them, specifically editing out and blurring important news that he was covering, essentially I saw a graph that always happens to our videos on this YouTube channel. So yeah, we definitely don't have the best relationship with YouTube, to say the least, on this particular YouTube channel, and that's why particularly I wanted to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for donating, even donating just $1 a month and allowing this independent media organization that is not on the left, that is not on the right, that is not a libtard or a conservative. We are an independent news organization that is fully supported by you and you only. Therefore, we are able to speak our minds. We are able to confront individuals like Eric Schmidt, Henry Kissinger, and many other important people and not have to bite our tongue and hold back the truth from you. And we're only doing that because you decided to click on wearechange.org/donate and get involved with a small contribution. $1 a month. You could even invest cryptocurrencies or even just use products that are crypto privacy backed products that help you earn money at the same time supporting this independent media organization, just like Presearch, Steemit, Brave, and DLive does. So again, all of the work we do, including the work that we did on Jeffrey Epstein's island, would not be possible if it wasn't for you. And that's why I wanted to thank you for your support. Now, I'm sorry I had to do that, but you need to understand the severity of what's happening to this independent media organization because it threatens our very existence. Now, moving forward in the top 5 things I learned from Jeffrey Epstein's island, the number 1 thing would be not only how vast and big this entire island is, but also how it's been completely swept and cleaned. Even doorways in the ground were nailed shut with plywood, which was impossible for me to open just with my bare hands. The temple, which is widely talked about on Jeffrey Epstein's island, on top of one of the mountains, was also completely shut and locked with a picture of a door just painted on one of its side while being barricaded on the other side, with a metal sheet covering one doorway and plywood covering the second one, preventing anyone from going inside, which, again, was just impossible to do as an individual without any professional hardware tools. The island was not only swept by federal authorities, which locals told me were flying in and out of the region for weeks, allegedly investigating the billionaire pedo, but independent media reporting, specifically from an anonymous person that is flying drones around the island, highlighted how many items, including a computer, were removed before the federal authorities took over a month to finally land on the island after Jeffrey Epstein's alleged death. And again, when it comes to the federal authorities, they cannot be trusted in this matter at all, since they allowed Jeffrey Epstein to get away with the worst acts on earth for over a decade. The federal authorities are the ones that aided and abetted Jeffrey Epstein, and this is why I did what I did, because they cannot be trusted in this particular case. Now, the second thing that I learned from my excursion to Jeffrey Epstein's island is, of course, the witness testimony. Not only people telling me that the FBI helicopters were flying in for weeks in and out of that private island, but also specifically how Epstein and what he was up to was no secret to the locals. A lot of people knew what was going on. A lot of people spoke out against it and saw very young girls either being shuttled in through helicopters or through boats on the island, with federal authorities and government officials not doing anything to stop it. So the witnesses that I talked to, specifically off camera, and again, just also many individuals knew what was going on. Now, the third thing I learned from my trip to Jeffrey Epstein's island was just some of the very weird and strange art that existed, specifically little gargoyles with horns on their heads surrounding the entire island. Just really strange stuff like the sundial, gargoyles, occult symbology, and representations of things that are just totally weird, in my opinion, and very eerily creepy, combined with the actual facts of what was happening on this island. And this was some of the stuff that was still there. Yeah, there was also a cow that allegedly the employees kind of moved around there. There was a large number of employees that did work for Jeffrey Epstein, which brings me to the number 4 conclusion, is that this island is not isolated. There's still people living there, as you probably saw at the end of our video, where me and Jeff have to make a run for it. Now, giving you some context here and some background here before I highlight more of Jeff Berwick's Forrest Gump running here. As I was uncovering and discovering different things all along the island, which again was just completely massive. I mean, we were running a lot of the times and still only just saw maybe half of what was there. But as I was exploring that 30 minutes in, I got a phone call from Joe B. Weeks, another good friend of ours that you've probably seen interviewed on this YouTube channel. And he says, dude, get out, get out, get out. There was, according to him, a scream, another lady coming forward, people on golf carts driving around, with them also screaming at the people in the boat and the boat operator to leave immediately. After getting that phone call from Joe B. Weeks, who was on the boat waiting for us on the pier, I tried to inform my Forrest Gump running friend Jeff to move to the side to not be seen out in the open on the beach, which he didn't hear and just decided to book it and run for it. But clearly, there is still people occupying the island and people making sure that the island is being upkept. Since, of course, the lawn and the pool, as we were discovering, are being taken care of. This, of course, made us realize that we weren't alone. And when we got the notice that they were looking for us, I guess this is why Jeff Berwick decided to run for it, which is pretty funny in the moment, but it was a little daunting and scary when it was happening. But you could definitely hear me laughing after seeing the running of Jeff here. Now, another thing we discovered, with of course many people assuming that there was caves and underground facilities at this island, that these kind of green little doorways were entrances to them. We actually walked inside of them and they were not entrances and looked like electrical rooms. Now, do tunnels exist on Jeffrey Epstein's island? Well, that's something that we were not able to verify ourselves, but is not out of the realm of possibility, especially with the hardware and construction materials that are on that island by themselves. I was still curious where this little doorway in the ground was leading to, but again, it was something that we could not find out. But again, I can't stress enough how vast this entire island was, and how we only saw a small side of it. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is a massive island, and in the video that you're watching, you see us make entry into this particular point. We first started to make our way up this particular hilltop, where we looked at the helicopter pad. We looked at an office here. This was where they were keeping the trash and a lot of the supplies, particularly a lot of cleaning supplies, and what also some people suspect to be bullet holes in this black bucket. But again, that is unconfirmed and only speculative from here. Now, obviously, when it comes to this matter, there's going to be a lot of theories out there, which of course we are doing our best to stay away from. But in this kind of theoretical world, there's going to be theories about us, and there is, of course. There's people alleging that Jeff Berwick lied about not having any shoes, and yeah, Jeff Berwick literally ran on there in this little, I don't know what to call this thing, but just like him, I was not expecting to be on that island. We had a boat captain that surprised us when a lot of other boat captains said that they wouldn't even take us near the island, and told us that we had 5 seconds to decide if we were going to jump on. Jeff was literally smoking a cigarette and had wine, and just decided to jump on with his selfie stick, which didn't include his shoes, which he had none. And then later in the video, when you see him running like Forrest Gump, you see him wearing something that looks like shoes, but those are actually just my socks, because I gave him socks because I felt bad that he was having a hard time, which I was laughing at him at, walking around the island, which had a lot of jagged rocks. The second conspiracy about us in this video is that there is actually someone walking behind us when we are doing the interview about what happened in the reflection of the glass door when we are speaking. And that is because we didn't shoot the video on Little St. James Island. We shot the video in our hotel room afterwards, far, far away from Little St. James Island. And of course, there's individuals calling us shills and saying that we faked it all. And again, people are entitled to their opinions. We don't censor speech on this YouTube channel. We don't censor YouTube comments. Feel free to assert any belief you have, because we believe discussion is actually beneficial for everyone. But I would ask you to consider the fact that me and Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, have been to a lot of incredible, crazy places, including Bilderberg during lockdown, including Cherán, Mexico, and of course the Michoacan, Mexican state, one of the most violent states in all of Mexico, in a town that got rid of all of the police and government officials, by the way. Great video you should watch. We were also, at the time, inside the murder capital of the world, Caracas, Venezuela, and of course, who could also forget Mogadishu, Somalia. So, you know, telling important stories is something that we do on this YouTube channel, no matter what the risk is. And we do that because of your support, because of you sharing the video, because of you fighting the YouTube throttle, because you voting with your dollar and deciding to say, you know what, I will support independent media. I want to see more of this kind of action, and I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is and say enough of the mainstream media propaganda, weaponized disinformation garbage that is being used against you and your family. So yeah, sincerely, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting independent media, for supporting me, for trusting in me. I remember seeing a lot of comments saying, oh, Luke's in the Caribbean, he's going to enjoy himself. I'm like, there's always going to be individuals who are criticizing you, and I don't want to focus on those individuals. I want to focus on the individuals that make this work possible, and that, of course, is you. And again, this is why I try to end almost every single video by saying, I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.